Good morning, Unity North. How about that band? Yeah. Good to see your beautiful faces on this Sunday after Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had lots of turkey and feel full and loved and well-fed in all areas of your life. Please stand if you're able. We're going to start this morning off with a little Karen Drucker, I See the Beauty in You. I see the beauty in you. I see the power in you. I see the greatness in you, and so it is. I see the sweetness in you. I see the sweetness in you. I see the softness in you, and so it is. I can see it. It's right there before me. I can feel it deep in my soul. I just know it, that you are an angel full of magic and power and pure sweet love. I see the goodness in you. I see the wisdom in you. I see the strength in you, and so it is. I see the joy that's in you. I see your light shining through. I see the love that's in you, and so it is. I can see it. It's right there before me. I can feel it deep in my soul. I just know it, that you are an angel full of magic and power and pure sweet love. See the grace that's in you. I see the courage in you. I see the heart that's in you, and so it is. I see the beauty in you. I see the power in you. I see the greatness in you, and so it is. I see the beauty in you, and so it is. I see the greatness in you, and so it is. I see the goodness in you, and so it is. I see the wisdom in you, and so it is. And so it is. And so it is. All right, good job, guys.
Thank you, Kristen. And so it is. And so we take the words of that song, the energy of that song, and come into a time of prayer. And I invite you to take a deep breath. And on the exhale, feel deep gratitude, deep peace, deep love. And so we say, thank you, God, for this sacred time and this sacred place with these sacred beings of light. And we call to mind all of those who aren't in the room with us, who still reside in our hearts, a part of the energy that make up our lives, the lives at Unity North, Atlanta and beyond, into the infinite universe. And so wherever you are, whether in the room or out there, in this moment, we are connected. In every moment, we are connected. We take that energetic shift in this moment to feel the connection. Those who are beyond the veil are with us, and we feel that connection. So as we share this time together, we say, thank you, God, with a grateful and abundant heart. Together, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. It's so great to see your faces, your smiling eyes. Good morning, Unity North. Good morning out there. We feel your presence as well. You are with us here in energy and in spirit. Lots going on here at Unity North. This Wednesday is our service of remembrance. This is one of our most sacred times that we share together. And the chaplains and Reverend Richard are putting on that service of remembrance this coming Wednesday, 7 p.m. in the sanctuary. And that's where we do honor those who have passed through the veil but are still with us in our hearts and in our spirit. And we invite you to bring a picture of a loved one, put that on the altar, and then share a time of love, of memory, and of sacred love. So that's this Wednesday. It will also be live streamed as well. Our tree lighting. So if you were here last week and heard my raucous plea for Christmas tree lights, boy, did you guys step up. My goodness. We have 30 trees. So now, yes, put your hands together for you. We are honoring 30 people, and so now it becomes, how are we going to do it? We have exactly 30 trees out there, and so this week, I believe Tuesday and maybe Thursday, we're going to be setting all of that up. So if you have some time and inclination to be behind the veil or behind the curtain and see how all this happens, you can call the office or watch on Facebook and maybe lend a couple of hours to make that happen, but it's going to be, if and when it works, yes it will, when we flip that switch, the entire campus is going to light up, which is going to be just a remarkable display of not only faith in action, but you guys put your money and your intention behind honoring all of those people. So that is Friday, December 3rd. So this coming Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., we will have the tree lighting. This is a family-friendly event. We've got activities for the kids, and I heard Santa might show up on the roof again. Yep, as I said, he's closer than you think. So if you have a tree, though, that's going to be the dedication. You'll have an ornament display kind of thing with your family, with your loved one's name. So please come for that. It's going to be from the sacred into the fun, and that's this Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Jazz night. Al Mango, our social butterfly in-house, is putting on an evening of jazz with one of Atlanta's preeminent jazz quartets, the Boys in Black, and that is going to be December 17th at 7 p.m. You get 2 drinks, you get hors d'oeuvres, and you get a wonderful evening of jazz, and that's going to be down in Holy Grounds. So you can go online for those tickets. Christmas Eve, I know we don't have a slide, but I want to remind you, Christmas Eve is coming. I think it's like 4 weeks, 3 weeks, it's close. There we go. We have 2 services. We're going to have a service at 5 p.m. and at 7 p.m., and it's going to be a wonderful time. Kids will be involved. If you still want to sign up your child to do a reading or a song, you can see me downstairs after service, and I think that's it for me.
All right, so thank you, Reverend Julie. I appreciate it. She's going to go down and be with the kids and take all the energy from up here. So send a blessing with her to all of our children and all that's going on downstairs. Oh, I want to welcome anybody who happens to be here for the very first time. And we want you to know that whoever you are and wherever you may be on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. And more importantly, you are welcome here. We behold you as the light of the world that you are. We recognize the unique way that you are finding your way home. And we're all walking home together. There are many paths to the one, and we're grateful that your path has crossed our path today. And in that exchange, something miraculous and beautiful happens as we remember we belong to each other. So if there's anybody in the room or anybody online who's here for the very first time, we're just going to ask that you put your hand up in the air, and we're going to give you a round of applause. Anybody in the room for the very first time today to Unity North? Welcome. Welcome to our home. Welcome to our family. Welcome to our community. And welcome to our hearts. For those of you who are new over the last month or so and would like to have a chance to know a little bit more about what we teach here, I will be in the office. Out the doors here to the left. Once a month we get together and it's just coffee and chat with the minister to ask any questions that you've got, maybe offer any answers that you might have. But it's a chance to just get a little comfortable with the guy who's behind the platform most of the time. But I'm glad that each of you is here. Each of you is a gift. And those of you online, you are a gift wherever you may be. You are also a gift to this community, and we welcome you into our heart space. Right now, I'd like to invite Kristen Hope Justice Pietro. You have like 5 names. It's because she's so beautiful and so important to our ministry. She's our guest singer today, and she's leading our group songs as well. Please welcome Kristen Pietro.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here today. This is a little Jason Mraz tune for you. Okay, go hang your hat on any tree. You can make yourself available to anybody, 'cause every living person knows you are a prize. Whichever way you go, I'll be easy to find. I don't ask for much, just be honest with me. I don't ask for much, be honest. Think of this song as a promise, you can do what you want. If you decide you want to move into a new stage, deleting me from pages in your mission statement. My love is unconditional, make no mistake. I don't ask for much, just be honest with me. I don't ask for much, just be honest with me. Who we are when love is what it wants to be. We are free and we are having the best day ever by far. Being treated to the light like a superstar. I can hold space while you see what your heart has to say about me. There's no dotted line to sign away your freedom. I'll acknowledge you to what you do to keep strong. I'll always get behind you, don't get me wrong. I don't ask for much, just be honest with me. I don't ask for much, just be honest with me. I don't ask for much, just be honest with me. We are when love is what you want to be. We are free and we are having the best day ever by far. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. What a wonderful invitation that is. Just be honest with me. Don't you love being part of a community where we can just be honest with each other? Can you let all the pretense down today? Can you let it all down? You know what our chaplains do is they absolutely see beyond the veil of who you are as a human being. And they see the Christ as you. They see the light as you. They see the magic and wonder of how God is expressed as you. And they get honest with us by only claiming the truth. That's what Tara's doing over there on that chair right there. She's getting honest with seeing the divine essence of your soul. That's what Judy Demmer will do, who's our other chaplain on duty. They would love to get honest with you after the service today. And to just be present to the miracle that you are. Now, my job as a minister is a little bit different than a prayer chaplain. My job as a minister is to get honest with you, to hold that high watch, to see the divine essence of your soul, but then to call out where we are not in congruity with that as a human being. Sometimes that can be really difficult. Sometimes as a minister, and I'm going to get really real with you today, my job is to hold you accountable to where the human self does not match the divine self, where they are not in balance, not in partnership, and they aren't working too well. I want to start with a poem that I often like to read at least once a year. How many of you are familiar with the old poem, Footprints in the Sand? It's a beautiful poem. Yeah, I'm not going to read that one. I'm going to read a rendition of that one. One night I had a wondrous dream. One set of footprints there was seen. The footprints of my precious Lord, but mine were not along the shore. But then some stranger prints appeared, and I asked the Lord, what have we here? Those prints are large and round and neat, but Lord, they're much too big for feet. My child, he said in somber tones, for miles and miles I carried you alone. I challenged you to walk in faith, but you refused and you made me wait. You closed your ears. You would not grow. The walk of faith you did not know. So I got tired and I got fed up. And there I dropped you on your butt. Because in life there comes a time when one must fight and one must climb, when one must rise and take a stand or leave their butt prints in the sand. I love that poem. Today, it's okay to clap for that. Today is the final message in a 4-part series based upon spiritual toughness. What is required of us to be tough with ourselves, tough with each other, and to be tough with the honest and real dialogues. Just be honest with me. And I thought it was kind of interesting that this is the first Sunday of Advent. And we typically have the Advent candles, but we had an overlap here. A series on toughness, and then the beginning of Advent. And I thought, is that an accident? There's an intersection there. Could it be that our growth, our becoming, our birthing of the divine light that we are is just on the other side of us getting a little honest and tough with each other? I'll let you make that decision up for yourself. But I think it's no accident that that's what we're talking about today. We talked at the beginning of this series about tough questions, asking ourselves the tough questions as a means of evolving. We then went to tough perspectives, and then tough decisions that had to be made so that we could become all that we are destined to be. And today is tough love. The idea of tough love is one of the most misunderstood ideas on the face of the planet. It's a tool for transformation. It's a tool for healing, but boy, is it misunderstood. And when it is used as a weapon, it can be misused and used in a horrible way. So I want to talk about what tough love is today and what tough love is not and how I am implementing it and my role as a minister in this church and how I'm calling each of us as we walk into Advent to implement this as a means of Christmas being more than it's ever been. Or whatever holiday you celebrate, it can be more because you're going to get tough and honest and real with yourselves. It's a tool that all the great spiritual masters have used. You realize that? Tough love was used by all the masters. And certainly our elder brother, our wayshower, Jesus, implemented this. Let me give you the evidence. One of my favorite stories from the Bible is the pool of Bethesda. There's a man who's been sitting there as a victim for 38 years. For 38 years, he whined and complained that he was limited. He couldn't get into the pool that supposedly, when the angels stirred the water, had healing properties. For 38 years, somebody always beat him. For 38 years, he complained about not getting there. Jesus comes along the scene. And I love this scene because it's absolutely tough love. And he asks the guy, do you want to be healed? And the guy says, duh, of course I want to be healed. And then what does he say? He says, take up your mat and walk. Take up your mat and get busy walking. Now, on the surface, that looks very unkind, doesn't it? How could Jesus be so rude to this poor victim of a man? He implemented tough love. But if you read the scriptures, whether the story is true or not, or just a parable, transformation happened after 38 years because somebody got tough with the guy. Transformation and healing happened for the guy instantaneously because somebody had the guts and the courage to say, quit putting the power outside of you. Quit looking for somebody else to get you to the well. And take up your mat and walk and channel that inner essence, that inner power that you are. That was tough love. But let's get more real. That was not only an isolated incident when Jesus did this. In the Gospel of Matthew chapter 26, I'm sure you remember this, Jesus has been in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he comes back to his apostles to check in on them, and they've all fallen asleep. Now, this is supposedly the kind, gentle minister, Jesus, who is always changing the world. This is what he has to say to his apostles. This is from the Message Bible. That's why it's in modern language. Can't you stick it out with me for a single hour? Stay alert. Be in prayer so you won't wander into temptation without even knowing that you're in danger. He's looking after them. Don't fall asleep. The apostles live in us, by the way. Jesus lives in us, and there's a part of us that's a channeling tough love that says, don't go to sleep. Pay attention. It's a little tough. He's getting kind of rough with the apostles here, but it gets even worse when he says this, there is a part of you that is eager, that is ready and thirsty for anything in God. He's recognizing the divine essence, the spiritual part, the Christ in them. But then there's another part of you that's as lazy as an old dog sleeping by the fire. I love that language from the Message Bible. A part of you that's as lazy as an old dog sleeping by the fire. This is the kind, gentle Jesus who came to transform the world through kindness and gentleness. He's being pretty tough there, isn't it? But what he's saying is, I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know your quest for God is sincere. I know your quest to evolve and to become more of your divine essence is true and real and powerful and sincere. But there's another part of you, the human part of you, that doesn't match it. You're allowing yourself to go to sleep consciously. You're allowing yourself to not pay attention to the call of God in you and as you. And he calls them out. They live in us. Today is about some tough love, about calling us out where we have fallen asleep, where we've made somebody else responsible. He's saying, I see your real self, and I won't tolerate anymore you paying attention to what is unreal and what is not true. But there's more. He gets even tougher in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9. This is what he has to say. Let's put that slide up there. Together, let's read this. Jesus said to them, you people are stubborn and don't have any faith. How much longer must I be with you? Why do I have to put up with you? Ouch! Now, I've been the recipient of that kind of language before, and I've also been the minister that's spoken those kinds of words before, and it feels like a hurt, doesn't it? That can hurt a little bit. But today I want to draw a clear distinction between hurt and harm. You see, we are called to be tough love. Somebody told me at one point that I had to absolutely, if I was going to be a good minister, develop thicker skin, or they would eat me alive. And they were absolutely right. I'll have some true confessions about that a little later. There's a big difference between hurting and harming. Think about a tooth. If you have a tooth that's in a place of pain, a plane of suffering, you're going to go to the dentist, and what's going to happen at the dentist is going to hurt. But what's going to happen at the dentist is going to be healing. It will not be harm. What is harmful is not going to the dentist, not having the moment of hurt so that you can heal from the wound, you can heal from the pain, you can heal from the suffering. Sometimes what hurts in the moment is exactly what is needed for that healing to happen, whether it be a dentist, whether it be a master teacher, whether it be in an environment of a spiritual community where we have a co-creative agreement to grow ourselves and to grow each other and to become more of who we are meant to be. Now, if you think this is just a Christian tradition, let's go to Buddhism. Any Buddhists in the room? You follow the Buddhist path. Well, the Dalai Lama teaches a lot about tough love. In the Buddhist tradition, the contemplative tradition, the goal of true compassion is to find ways to promote the least amount of suffering. The Buddhists are dentists. How can I promote the least amount of suffering for everyone? And sometimes, this is an exact quote from the Dalai Lama, compassion means no longer contributing to suffering. No longer contributing to suffering or withdrawing that which is causing suffering for another, for the world, or for ourselves. Breathe that in for a second. Sometimes I need to withdraw that which is causing suffering. I am a part of the problem. By continuing to do what I have labeled as loving and kind and beautiful and generous, I'm causing more suffering. I'm causing more pain at the end. So I am harmful. That's not just hurt. I am causing a harm, and I am causing people to be stagnant and to not grow. How many people know the definition of insanity? I know you've heard it 1,000 times, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. There's a lot of the world that's living in insanity right now. I'm not just talking about one-on-one individuals. I'm talking about the world and the human race as we know it today. How long, did Jesus say, do I have to stay with you and put up with this? You're not getting it. And there comes a time in the collective and there comes a time in the individual relationship where the constant giving becomes a codependent environment and nothing changes. In fact, harm is being done, irreparable harm, where people are being allowed to continue to be a victim and to stay stuck. Can't you stay awake with me for an hour? Can't you wake up for me an hour? Or are you so oversensitive with thin skin that when somebody calls you out and where you're out of congruity that you run and hide and cry? The world needs to develop a little bit thicker skin today. And I'm calling us in the season of Advent that we're going to have this crossroads of tough love, and Advent is we're going to get some thick skin. And during this season of Christmas, something beautiful is going to be born because we're being tough with ourselves individually, because all roads start and end right here. Let's get real with the apostles in me. Let's get real with the people in me, the ideas and the energies within me that need to be shifted. I had a men's group. I've talked about this men's group a lot, and it was an accountability group. There were 4 of us. And at any given moment, one of us was Goldilocks and the other 3 were the 3 bears. And we used to implement this system of Goldilocks and the 3 bears when we held each other accountable. Not too hard, not too soft, just right. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Well, there was a moment when the 3 bears made it their decision that I was going to be Goldilocks for the day with my thin skin and decided to tell me this is the day we're going to confront Richard about the fact that he's been telling the same victim story for the last 6 months and they're tired of hearing it. What do you mean? He said, we notice that you're repeating the same patterns. We notice that you're doing the same things. We're no longer willing to sit here as the 3 bears that you have hired to hold you accountable and listen to your story anymore. It was a very loving gesture, and it hurt deeply. I left that meeting very angry with them. I went away, took my porridge, and went away. Driving down the road, 5 minutes down the road, really ticked off. How dare them? Until the inner Christ went, they're right. They're right. I need to look at that. Healing only happened because the 3 other guys were willing to call it out and to call it up, to be looked at, to be revealed, to be discussed, to be recognized. Had they not done that, I would probably still be telling the same story today of how the world had wronged me and how I was a victim of the world and the circumstances of the world. Nothing would have happened in the Advent world because nothing would have been born. I'd still be the same stagnant environment. Make no mistake about it. The man came, whether he was sent from God, was an expression of God, or was just the right man at the right time to have the right tough love to say, no more. You all have fallen asleep. How long do I have to bear this with you? Wake up. Jesus wasn't 2x4 upside the head. He brought hope and he brought faith, he brought peace, he brought love and he brought joy, but he brought a lot of tough love with him. And you even know the story of Michael Moran that I shared. He's the reason I'm in ministry. Those 3 guys were members of the church where Michael Moran was the minister and I was the music director. And he sat at the beginning of his transformation on one side of a jail cell, looking through the bars at his mother for the 3rd time within the year. And she looked at him and she said this, I don't know who you're pretending to be, but I know who you are. And when you figure it out, I will be there. Wow, how unkind. That's a mother. You're supposed to be a mother and supposed to always take care of your children. That sounds kind of mean, just like Jesus. Take up your mat and walk. Sounds tough. Yet Michael Moran marks that moment as the moment he owned his life, he took over his life, and he became an amazing minister. I own the moment of the 3 bears calling Goldilocks out for his victim story he was telling as the beginning. It's been a long journey, and I still have those energies that have to be processed. As the moment of my transformation, In the moment of my healing, a little bit of hurt took care of a whole lot of harm that would have been done had they continued to listen to the story. Michael Moran marks the difference between hurt and harm. The moment of transformation, the moment of healing, because somebody got honest. Somebody got real, and thank God, mothers are tough. They are tough, aren't they? They know how to say the right thing at the right time and be the right person. They are the Christ in many instances. Sometimes they aren't, but you have a mother figure. You have a woman in your life who got honest with you at one point. Count your blessings, because Advent happened not just here in this year, this month, but throughout your life, because you're not the same person you were. As I mark my life, I am not the same person I was 20 years ago, 20 months ago, 20 minutes ago, because I'm surrounded by people who will be honest with me, who will be real with me in the most beautiful amount of love. It's not that they don't love me, but it's that I can trust their love because it's honest. I can trust their love because I know they're not going to pull punches when I'm acting less than. My daughter, I've told this story many times, it bears repeating. I was driving down the road, taking her to school one day, sharing my victim story, sharing how I was subject to the whims of the world. And I finally paused and took a breath, and she looked at me on the other side of the seat, and she said, "Wow, sucks to be you." Wow, that's not very kind. That's not kind at all. That's kind of rude. But in that moment, I stopped my story. In that moment, no, it's not that bad. And I began to explain. I began to count all the right notes, as I tell my piano students. I began to say, no, it's not that bad. She flipped a switch in my head, and transformation began to happen because somebody had tough love and was willing to get honest with me. Tough love tells the truth, plain and simple. Tough love cares enough to not support destructive behaviors, to not accept less than your divine essence. Tough love holds others and yourself accountable. It is a necessary spiritual practice. Tough love is a spiritual practice? Yes, it is. Because it's a practice in holding on to the truth that's beneath the surface of illusions, and that's everything we do here. Let me see beyond the veil to the truth that's underneath. Let me hold to the truth that's underneath. And sometimes it is exactly what is needed for the one that's living in the illusion to finally see the truth, to finally heal, to finally transform. Think about right now. Go through an inventory of your life. I bet you can think of somebody right now that got honest with you that really ticked you off. You are the man or the woman that you are today because of those moments, not the moments of pacification where everybody said, no matter what you do, you're a perfect child of God. I remember when I entered religious science movement, we sang this song, which felt like a really good song at the time. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. Oh my God, is that a codependent love song if I ever heard one? I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. Now, there's a little tough love. You are capable of that, but let me tell you, you're not acting like that. There are some things that need to change. And I'm grateful for that. I told Mike Stott over there, I always use him as an example because he is a great example of, he always says to me, would you like a little cheese with your wine? I know I can count on my brother Mike Stott to hold me accountable. Thank God I have people like that and not people that say no matter what you do, it's all just perfect rainbows and it's sweet. I'm a human being with human fallacies, human problems. Foibles, that's a good word. Who said that? Human foibles. And so is Mike. You see, Mike it's not a one-way street. I can do the same for Mike Stott. And we live in an environment where we do that for each other at a certain level. I want to go to the next level because I don't want Christmas to be once a year and we're sweet and nice and we're becoming ourselves and giving birth. I want it to be every breath, every thought, every heartbeat. We are allowing Christmas to have its way with us. I want to surround myself with chaplains who see the high watch and don't let me play small. I want to surround myself with ministers. Every one of you is a minister that will not let me be less than I am called to be. Love tells the truth. And let me tell you, it includes things like racism. It's not just an individual thing. It includes racism, it includes homophobia, it includes misogyny, and it includes classism. Way too long did I allow somebody to speak racist remarks in my presence where I didn't do anything, where I didn't say anything. Don't applaud that. Applaud the moment where the three bears found the way in love. I will love you anyway, but this is not acceptable in my environment. Too long have I allowed misogynistic jokes to be funny as a male, as a white male, to be made, and then I don't open my mouth and say, no, let me draw a line. Not acceptable on my watch. I love you. You see, there's a difference. Too hard means I hate you. You're the enemy. You cannot make somebody an enemy or it's too hard. You cannot play dead. You cannot lay down and play dead and allow it to be in your environment because that's too soft. Just right is a little bit of tough love. Let's love ourselves to a different consciousness. Let's love ourselves into a new paradigm. Let's love each other into a new reality. And maybe, just maybe, we can take the tough love in this room and go out those doors and have enough courage and guts to create a different paradigm out there. When it comes to love, tough love, when somebody is harming themselves or harming another, and words are just sticks and stones, may break your bones, but names will never hurt you? No, names hurt. It's a collective energy that's being spewed out. It's a toxic poison that's being thrown out. And nobody in this room is immune to it, including myself. Good. Call me out, Mike. Call me out, Richard. Call me out, Terry. Call me out. I got to come to a higher place of my Christ. We have 4 decisions we can make when this is happening. When the remarks are being made, when the actions are being taken, or you see somebody going down the tube, yet again, waiting for you to pull them out, you have 4 decisions to make. Let's put them up. Here's the next slide. Number 1, you can give up. You can give in, and you can stay quiet. Is that what love would do? It's not what real love does. It's not what tough love does. It's what victims do. Oh, I can't do anything. Not my problem. I'm away. No healing happens when you do that. No transformation happens when you do that. It's a cop-out. Number 2, you can beg. I have a lot of these people in my life. You can nag. You can pester. Is that what love would do? No transformation happens. What happens is a beginning of a system of duality. Get off my back. You're constantly henpecking me. And by the way, that, for the reference, that is not my home life I'm talking about. It's my church life I'm talking about. Whew, dodge that bullet. You become a codependent manipulator. That's not what love does, because no healing ever is going to happen in that kind of environment. Number 3, you can attack. This is what we've done globally. This is what we've done nationally. Let me attack the other side. They're so wrong. They're so bad. You're so screwed up. You're so broken. You're so ignorant. And that's a bomb that gets thrown on both sides of an aisle. And within one side of an aisle is being thrown. It's attack and assault. That's not what tough love does. It's not what real love does, because that creates a farther duality. And the world gets a little bit farther from the oneness that we teach and the oneness that we are. The fourth line, the fourth way you can handle this is the way I see that Jesus did it. Draw a line, draw a healthy boundary. Draw a line in the sand that says, I know who you are, and I will love you at that level. But I will no longer support you being, doing, and thinking that which you are not, that which is not true. And when you remember, I will be here for you. But until you clean up that act, I won't be there for you. I'm having lunch today with somebody who used to be a member of this congregation. And it's somebody who made extremely racist remarks in my presence and loved me beautifully. I loved them beautifully. And I never said anything. So they loved me until I said, no more, not on my watch. I lost a friend. I lost a congregant. And I'm having lunch with them today because they cleaned up their act. And they cleaned up their act because there were enough people willing to say, that's not the way we think here. That's not what we do here. That's not acceptable on my watch. Which caused healing? Tough love caused healing. Not too hard. You're terrible. You're awful. No, I love you. I love who you are, but you need to clean up the act. That's tough love. Not too soft, keeping my mouth shut and allowing toxic energy to be spewed. Let me tell you what tough love is not. Tough love is not about a judgmental preference for somebody else's life. Tough love is not, this is the way I think you should show up, so you need to get in line with the way I think my judgment has called you to be. That's not what tough love is. It is not about disengagement or washing your hands of any responsibility. You are responsible whether we like it or not. You're on earth. You're walking the earth at this point. You are responsible for the planet. You are responsible for the healing. You are responsible for your church. And if you come into this church with the idea that you're not responsible for what happens around here, you're not going to last very long. You are responsible because you're sitting in the room for the culture that exists here, for the energy that exists here. What did you bring into the door? What did you bring in and sit down with today? You are responsible. Tough love is not punishment. It's not revenge. You want to look at the political system of our country? It's all about winning at all costs. Revenge. I'll punish you. You said something mean, so I'll say something mean back. I look like the world today. We are in the middle of a middle school devolution. We've devolved to middle school. Well, you're a bigger poopy head than I am. It's ridiculous. It's funny, but it's not so funny when you look at it. Tough love is not about doing that. Tough love is not about denying the importance of healthy boundaries. The Dalai Lama, let's see what the Dalai Lama has to say about that. Let's read it together. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. Now, it's going to get a little more honest in just a moment, but as a minister, I let others destroy my inner peace, and I let others destroy the inner peace of this community at one point. Guilty as charged. Too soft sometimes, too hard sometimes, and when I found the way to be tough love and to hold on to my inner peace, my ability to see the light inside even when we weren't displaying it, is what caused this church to transform. Tough love is not an easy way out of a problem. You know, I've all heard this say, well, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. That's kind of a silly adage, but the reality, it is an equal measure of hurt. Friedrich Nietzsche is one of my favorite go-tos for quotes. Let's put the next quote up there, please. This is what he had to say. Together, this is what is hardest, to close the open hand because one loves. That doesn't make any sense. No, to the human ego, it makes no sense. To the Christ of you, it makes all the sense in the world. I know who you are. I don't know who you're pretending to be. When you figure it out, I'll be here for you. And I'll have lunch with you. When you figure it out, I'll be here for you. Tough love is not a magic pill, but it is an advent. It is a portal to change when implemented with sincere compassion. So what tough love is, it's about addressing truly harmful behavior, plain and simple. It's about getting honest, as the song said. It's about recognizing free will, every other person, and your free will to make up your own mind. Tough love is about learning self-acceptance. It is about being grounded in something greater than human realities, human behaviors, and human conditions. Tough love is about compassion for a person's soul. I know who you are. I see your soul. And I no longer will contribute to your suffering by being a codependent minister, by being a codependent friend, or a codependent father, or a codependent mother. I just had the most glorious Thanksgiving with my daughter who came down from New York. And there was a moment, not too long ago, maybe 3 years ago, where we had the worst Thanksgiving ever. It was awful. There were words spoken that should not be spoken in any home or any church, for sure. And I spoke some of them. She spoke some of them. We actually have a tradition now that Thanksgiving is not complete until one of us says, F you. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And what happened on that Thanksgiving was a co-creative, tough love moment. I can't do this anymore. I won't do this anymore. And my daughter went away just like I did 5 minutes down the road. Unfortunately, it took 2 years. They were right. I don't want to do that anymore either. The healing that Thanksgiving was to have her drive. She drove from New York with a dog in a broken down car so that she could be with her family. That only would have happened because somebody in our family had the guts to say, no more. I draw a line in the sand. We can't do this way anymore. I am grateful for the relationship that is deeper, more profoundly beautiful and loving than I've ever had with my daughter, and she with the rest of the family. One thing I will caution you, never get between two women in a fight. I was the minister that was going to make nicey-nicey at the Thanksgiving 3 or 4 years ago. Oh, everybody just needs to get along. And all the women were fighting in the kitchen, and I came in and tried to make peace. They all still loved each other, but they were the ones saying F you to me. Lesson learned, but a lesson that I needed to implement when it came to being a minister in a church. I'm going to invite the band to come back up now at this point. Tough love is about consistency, following through. It creates safety. I can count on you, and you can count on me. I can count on Mike Stott. Mike Stott can count on me. I can count on Bill Coons and Deanna Fleener and Joel and Marianne. I can count on them. They don't always say what I like. I don't always say what they like. But we can count on each other. That's the kind of community I want. That's the advent of what I want. That's the reality of an honest and real group of people growing. That's the Christ living from a place of reality and not just a pretty theory that's being born and crucified every Christmas and every Easter. Here's what I learned about being a minister. I don't know how, I think it's been 8 years since I took over the helm of this church, about 8 years. And I am a very sincerely kind, loving person who wants only the best for everybody. I want you to be happy. That is true. The greatest part of me wants you to have the most fulfilling and beautiful life. And for 3-4 years, I kept this congregation stagnant out of a codependent environment to be everything to everybody, to tell you what you needed to be happy in the moment. I worked really hard, and I about killed myself for 4 years, being a very codependent person who was too soft. This church didn't grow. And you know what happened? People didn't grow. There was no growth here. Nobody was evolving. Nobody was becoming individually or collectively. We were a stagnant environment. And I can find 100 things out here as to why that happened. Yet the guy at the helm, at the consciousness, was letting you be broken. Was letting the system be broken. Letting the system be unforgiving, to be totally honest. And there was a moment, I had some forgiveness to do, where I drove 3-4 times past a place that needed to be forgiven. And then I quit allowing people to hold their resentment in this environment, and we lost people. They were more attached to their resentment than they were to the growth, to the truth, to the light. Little music, Ryan, would be great. And there was a moment of tough love when I became the minister I was supposed to become. There was nothing comfortable about it. There was nothing comfortable about sitting in my office with somebody and playing the three bears all in one. Let me figure this out. But you're stuck and I'm stuck. This doesn't work anymore. The time comes to draw a line in the sand, and we found the place of just right. It was the moment that this church was no longer bankrupt. It was the moment where we quit counting pennies because we were surviving. And it was the moment we became an abundant, on every level, environment. I started calling people out. But more importantly, I started calling people up. I know who you are. I don't know who you're pretending to be. And I believe I became the minister. It's a long way to go, baby. But boy, I look back at that decision to get a little bit of tough love. I certainly enjoyed life a heck of a lot more. I certainly quit resenting people a heck of a lot more. I certainly quit being sick. Those 4 years, those of you who were here, you remember. You said, oh, here it comes. The 4th time that the minister has bronchitis and has to stay home sick. I was sick with bronchitis 4 times a year. You may have noticed that there was a decision made. I haven't had bronchitis for the last 4 years. I haven't been sick for the last 4 years. Was there an emotional cause? Yes. Was there a spiritual cause? Yes. Was there a mental cause? Yes. All I know is my life is better, and the lives of those that I got tough with that were willing to sit in the fire are better. I bless and love those who went away, who when they come back, I'll have lunch with them. And I will sit down and go, good on you. Good on you, and good on me. If they don't ever come back, I bless them wherever they are, because I want to be in the fire. I want to be in the fire with people who can share in an honest, open place, a real place of the Christ. Here's one thing I have committed to as a minister. I will never paint you as a victim, ever again. That's not what tough love does. I will never paint you as a villain or anybody in this church as a villain. That's a victim consciousness that does not lift anybody up. But I will see you as a victor. I will always see you as a victor, no matter how dark it might get. And we're in the darkest month of the year, celebrating the light. And sometimes it means tough love. Stop living in the darkness and start being the light of the world. This is what Jesus, tough love, came onto the earth to say. I know who you are. I don't know who you're pretending to be, but it's time to wake up. As a minister, I will expect your best. Always expect your best. And I've taken some flack for that. I will not accept mediocrity from you because I know who you are. I will offer gratitude readily. I will acknowledge your growth readily, but I no longer offer empty praise. I won't do it. Does that make me a kind minister? Does it make me a loving minister? Do I have fewer friends that love me as a minister than when I was a codependent person allowing you to be stuck? Maybe, but the quality is far better than the quantity. I claim that. I will no longer gush over you, but if you get a thank you from me, if you get an attaboy or an attagirl from me, let me tell you, you earned every bit of it, and you can take that to the bank. That's the kind of minister I want to be. That's the kind of Christ I want to be. I've also learned that failure is not a defeat. You're going to fall down. You may make a remark in front of me, but if you're willing to be in tough love, I'm going to reach down and we're going to get through this together, but you can't talk like that anymore. You can't be that small person anymore. I have one job in this church, and I take this very, very seriously, and that is to be a pattern interrupter. To look at the field and go, we got a habit happening here. We got a pattern happening here. You've got a pattern happening there. Let's work on that together. But that's not just my job. You have a responsibility when you come into the room to be a pattern interrupter. To see what is going on that is out of congruity with Christmas, out of congruity with Hanukkah, out of congruity with whatever tradition you celebrate at this time of year, and there's a whole bunch of them. They all come down to light. I will see your light, and I will hold you accountable to that light. Kristen, I'm going to come back up, and we're going to go into a time of meditation. Jesus did this. I'm trying to do it as your minister, and it doesn't always make me the most popular minister, but let me tell you, I look forward to the moment, maybe it's 2-3 years down the road, where the FU becomes, thank you for having the guts and the courage to call me out. Thank you for having the guts and the courage to call me up. Thanks for having the guts and the courage to say, would you like a little cheese with that wine? 2 years from now is just a symbolic number. 2 minutes from now, maybe when you're driving out of here and this talk maybe ticked you off a little bit, you're going to come back and go, I think he was right. I think he was right. And Goldilocks and the three bears live in this community. Go ahead, Kristen. Let's just take it there. I'm going to leave you with the final quote that I started, and then we're going to sing. Because in life, there comes a time when one must fight and one must climb. When one must rise and take a stand or leave their butt prints in the sand. I'm erasing the butt prints this December. They don't exist anymore. Let's get busy. Kristen?
You are love, you are strength. forgiveness.
Please sing with us.
You are love, and I can see you as you are. I am love, I am strength, I am forgiveness. I am love, and I can see me as I am. We are love, we are strength, we are forgiveness. We are love, and I can see us as we are.
Take a deep breath with me. See yourself as you are. Take another deep breath and see those around you as they are. And then another deep breath and see somebody that maybe needs a little tough love. See them as they are. This first Sunday of Advent is a celebration of hope and faith, and we usually kindle a candle. I'm inviting you to kindle the candle within as I share this poem as our meditation today. Hope and faith, the promise of the light not yet awakened in those that sleep. Hope and faith as every newborn's cry, as every flower lying dormant beneath winter's blanket, and every footprint in the snow left by the one who moved forward. Hope and faith, testified to by the gentle arms of each new sunrise, and the stillness of the moon offering protection in the deepest night. Hope and faith are the rhythms of our expectations, the drumbeat of our intentions, and the pulse of our visions and dreams. They are the glorious hymn within us that raises her melody to the heavens, even before the breaking of dawn. Hope and faith are the possibility of who we can become, the knowledge of who we are becoming, and the truth of who we truly are. Hope and faith are the birthing of the light in each of us. Within this season, within this moment, within this breath, hope and faith, God's sacred spirit, held in every prayer, felt in every meditation, and known as the essence of tomorrow's celebration. Hope and faith, two sisters opening up the gateway to the mystery and magic of Christmas. Tough love will be the promise of the light not yet awakened. Will be the cry that you hear beneath the surface of a newborn life. Tough love will be the footprint in the snow, the arms of a new day, the protection in the deepest night. Tough love will be the hymn. And although it may hurt, her melody will raise all to the dawn. Tough love holds to the fact that we know who we are, who we truly are. We shall be God's sacred garment, felt in every word spoken. That's not too hard, not too soft, but just right. As we draw a line in the sand, following the example of those that have gone before us and those that are reawakened in our heart during the Advent season, a line that will be the portal, the avenue, and the way to the mystery and magic of Christmas. Take a moment in the silence to draw that line and to be that light for yourself and for others. There is a part of you that is eager and ready for anything in God. Stick it out with me for a single hour. Stay alert. Be in prayer. And let's make our way to the dentist. And know that it may hurt a little at the beginning. But the joy on the other side, the relief of suffering and harm on the other side is so, so beautiful. And so it is. And so we simply let it be. Amen. So you got 4 choices this week. We'll examine those 4 choices next Sunday as we fully jump into Advent, fully jump into the holiday season. And I ask forgiveness because we're going to light all the candles of the Advent season in one time. All the Catholics, please forgive me for I have sinned. We're going to light them all. And I invite you to bring that light into this room and to bring your responsible light into this room and to be the change that we want to see. If this had meaning to you, those of you online, if it had meaning to you, those of you in the room, find a way to say thank you. Find a way to participate. Find a way to support these kinds of messages which are needed in this world today. Those of you in the room, there's a couple of baskets on the way out. You can put something in there, maybe give it a little bit extra, and then be even tougher with the minister of this church when you say, this is what I want my community to be. My talks come directly out of the tough love that comes to my congregation and those that are willing to grow. Get on board the train. Those of you online, you can text to give. It's a very simple process. Find a way to, whether you be in California, Texas, or New York, to say thank you to the work that's being done here. Send your check-in, mail a check-in, but find a way to be grateful. Find a way to say thank you. And as a minister of this church, I just want to, on this Thanksgiving weekend, say thank you for those of you who are in the room, who stay in the fires, who allow yourself to be refined, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts a little bit, because I behold you as the Christ that you are. Right now, I'm going to invite Kristen to sing us out of this place today. We got an offering song, and this is another beautiful song. Please welcome back to the platform, Kristen Pietro.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Richard. You know, I have to be honest with you, Reverend Richard. I was sitting over there. I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, am I about to get in trouble for something? Am I about to be called out? No, but all kidding aside.
Actually, this is an intervention for Kristen today. No.
I was like, oh, no. But this next song I'm going to sing for you is one of my original songs, and I wrote this during 2020, and it was, you know, there's always going to be challenges in life and things going on in the world and some things that are out of our control. And so I felt like collectively we probably all asked ourselves this question, what can I do? And basically, you know, what it all comes down to is being the love and choosing love every day and every moment that you can. So this is called What Can I Do?
Cities burning, streets on fire, holding signs up, I can't breathe. We seem more separate than together, divided by a man and by disease. I am only one person. I will not walk on by, pretend to be colorblind and turn a blind eye. If we all choose to congregate for the sake of one human race, the world would be a better place. This world would be a better place. What can I do to make things better? What can I say to make a better way? I can't change past mistakes or take away the pain. What I can do is choose to love today. We all come from one maker. We are all made the same. Despite politics and heretics and fingers pointing blame, if we're all a little kinder with our arms out open wider, the world would be a better place. This world would be a better place. So what can I do to make things better? What can I say to make a better way? I can't change past mistakes or take away the pain. What I can do is choose to love today. And if I had a superpower, I'd erase every pain, and every life I love lost would never be in vain. We'd all love one another, promise keepers for each other. Love would save the day. What can I do to make things better? What can I say to make a better way? I can't change past mistakes or take away the pain. What I can do is choose to love today. What I can do is choose to love today. What I can do is choose to love today. As I lay me down to sleep, I pray, oh Lord, my soul you keep us safe from each each other. Help us love one another. Oh Lord, hear me pray. Let love save the day. Oh, let love save the day. Let love save the day. Thank you, guys.
Beautiful, beautiful as always. What a great song. What a great message. And you earned it. I'm not just giving you false praise. That was beautiful. Thank you for your heart and your ministry. Up on your feet. You've been a gauntlet's been thrown down. What can you do to save the world? To be the blessing, to be the hands, to be the voice, to be the mind of God, to be the expression of the Christ light that we're celebrating at Advent out there. This is our closing song. Those of you who would like to ask any questions or get to spend some time with me, I'll be in the office to the left. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll come every single Sunday during the Advent season. If you would like prayers, Kara and Judy will be on site to hold tough love with you, to hold sacred space and truth. Let's right now, let's sing together.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice, the spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who we am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Thanks you all for being here. Go out and be a blessing to the world wherever you are. Have a blessed and beautiful week.